Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update, Sunday, October 6th, 11 p.m. Mountain Time 2019. The models have shifted. They haven't shifted in the favor of anyone. In fact, the models are getting heavier down here in the southern states, and the snow is moving all the way to North Texas. Yeah, I said snow in North Texas as early as the schmexis of the nexus. Right there. Tippy touch, Friday, October 11th. North Texas could pick up a dusting, but the snow is going to come all the way down to the South Mountains towards Taos and into New Mexico. So this storm has extended south now, 600 miles further south than it was earlier. And the totals in Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, picking up on the conjunction of the tri-state line meeting point, where 3 feet of snow is predicted for many regions. So it's a repeat of the Montana storm that moved to the east to cover the crops in Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, North South Dakota. I hope they're harvesting now hard, because this is coming soon. They should be harvesting now. They should be warned that by Thursday, it's going to be falling apart. Even Wednesday for Montana, but Montana's already destroyed. So by Thursday, North Dakota is going to be first, then South Dakota, Nebraska, Colorado, Kansas, Iowa, and Minnesota will be buried, and any crops left in this region will be dead forever. Keep calm, it's boom time. Strong fall system to bring snow, wind, and cold to central and northern parts of the U.S. And we have webcam, folks. We got it. We got it back, baby. We're back. I don't even know how to adjust myself because we are back. But it's just a tippy touch, just a teaser. Strong fall system to bring snow, wind, and cold to central and northern parts of the U.S. Look at Billings. They look like they're in the middle of it. They already know what we've picked up and put down. But this week will feature a powerhouse fall storm system that will bring rain, thunderstorms, snow, strong wind gusts, hail, blizzard conditions, and a significant temperature drop. We'll get to that, up to 50 degrees, which happens here every day, so that's normal for us. But it hasn't developed quite yet as of Sunday evening, but it will quickly get its act together late in the day Tuesday in the northern Rockies. And we're going to be watching this closely because this is an epic storm. First snow of the season for Yampa Valley in the forecast this week. You got just a few days to dig out your parkas, folks. The first snow to reach the Yampa Valley floor is expected Thursday, which is your Thursday. First snow of the season ahead for parts of the Rockies and Northern Plains, including Denver. And we have a forecast to remember.
We've had a lot of summer on the weather map lately. Now here comes winter. Notice this big trough we have across the western and central part of the country. That's going to draw down that cold air from the north, and it's definitely going to feel and look a lot like winter in the days to come. So check it out. We've got snow coming down, and not just in the higher elevations. We're going to see this moving into the lower elevations too. So as we go through the week, watch that snow coming through Montana, Wyoming, coming into north and South Dakota, Nebraska. You'll see some of that snow. The snow ultimately moving into Minnesota, also into Iowa. Add to that, we'll have some strong winds coming with it. And as you notice the snowfall amounts, this definitely could be impacting your day in many places. Out ahead of this system, that's where we have the threat for some severe weather. So on Thursday, watching very closely for the threat of damaging winds, large hail, and possibly some tornadoes.
Well, that's a forecast to remember. There's a lot going on there. Cold front and low pressure system will bring snow from the Rockies to the pause it. Please, can we pause this? Okay. A cold front and a low pressure system will bring snow from the Rockies to the northern plains. For some areas in the high plains and northern plains, it will be the first
when we look at tropical,
I knew that was going to interrupt us. Denver and Cheyenne, Wyoming are among the cities that could receive accumulating snow. Here's your winter alerts and warnings from Lander north through Cut Bank. Heads up, Billings, Butte, and Great Falls. You're in the middle of it. Wednesday forecast. Minot through Cheyenne. Now look at the temperature in Cheyenne. We're going to get to that. Casper 38, 70, just a few hundred miles away. And right up your Jackson Hole with a 35-degree. 32 in Billings, which means snow and Great Falls will be falling greatly there. So snow will spread further south and eastward Thursday from southeastern Montana and Wyoming into northern Colorado and western and central Dakotas, and even western Nebraska. This includes Denver, Cheyenne, and Wyoming, and it will move to the east as it lays its hand down. Now, snowstorm rapid freeze up to create dangerous travel over the Rockies and High Plains this week, so heads up there. Check out the links below and read more. Now, after record heat this weekend and my face in the way of the headline, a near 40-degree drop is expected Sunday night in Texas, where they may get snow as early as October 11th. So, for those of you wondering when the snow will fall in Florida, well, it's not a sharda that far away. Is that even a word? We will probably be looking at the first snows in Pensacola, northern Florida, maybe at the end of November, but guaranteed, it is my prediction that we will see the Okeechobee and the Great White Rain hit Central Florida this winter. Because the pattern is meridional and ebbs and flows, it's hard to forecast that out in long distance. But let's just say that based on historical evidence, it's coming. Winter is coming. Dallas, early evening update. The cold front continues to slide through North Texas this evening, and it's sparking a few thunderstorms as it does. Below is the timeline of the storm chances tonight. Most of the rain will be done by midnight, but the snow will not enter into the picture until midweek. And we'll report on it. Freeze warning issued for El Paso County. Chance of snow in Colorado Springs, which would be beautiful. A freeze advisory was issued by the National Weather Service for Pueblo for northern El Paso County on Sunday night, while a frost advisory was issued for parts of the county, including Colorado Springs. We've had frost and freeze here like a dozen times already. It was 24 degrees this morning here. Yeah. That's colder than normal, folks. How bad will winter be? 2019 winter outlook shows the polar coaster. That's according to many. And that polar coaster is beginning now, 10 weeks before winter. And if we just go 12 days from now, it's looking redonkulous. Heads up. Those are the GFS models. Winter blast, according to the National Weather Service for Billings, Montana. Check out your Tuesday the 8th. 70, 71, 69. 71 in Sheridan, and then boom, 32 on Wednesday. And that's tonight's first boom to meridional flow. Holy shinoli. Time to pack we'll get to that. Tuesday in Billings, 70. Wednesday, 29. Low 14. What the fuck? Livingston, high 64 Tuesday, low 28. Low 10, high 28. Holy, somebody's high. Sheridan, Wyoming, 71 for the high on Tuesday, only 32 for the high on Wednesday with a low of 13. A difference of 60 degrees. Get on your knees. Temperatures plummet Tuesday night through Wednesday throughout Montana. Challenging commutes Wednesday, icy roads. People pissed off and wondering why they can live there. And they're like, I thought Al Gore said we were... Anyway. It's going to warm up by next weekend now. Into the 43s. Zonal versus meridional flow. So as we have solar max and this night-tight zonal flow in our jet stream pushes air across, and we have an excellent separation between the tropical flow here in the U.S. and the Arctic flow above. These systems break down during grand solar minimas and solar minimums. They break down here for a few years every 10 years for these solar minimum periods, but during weaker sections like the centennial minimum and now the modern NE minimum, which you have just entered, the meridional flow is going to be the standard course, which makes weather prediction almost impossible until it's right upon you. And that can bring air from up here in northern Greenland all the way down to Georgia. Yeah, that's your future, unfortunately. And then that would be followed immediately by 70-degree highs the next day. New CMIP data suggests that this is the plan for the rest of everyone's life for the next 10, 20 generations as we enter the next ice age, where temperatures will drop 18 degrees C in the next 100 to 1,000 years. Cold front moving from Midwest to East. A strong cold front is expected to progress from the Midwest to the East and South. This front will produce locally heavy rain from western PA to the lower Mississippi Valley. Strong thunderstorms from the Tennessee Valley to the Arc, Louisiana, Tex region. Meanwhile, red flag warnings remain in effect for north central California, which is not marked on the map, just here for southern Wyoming. These people are fucking liars. We got fires in Colorado, and we got to watch them. Check it out. Frost and freeze warnings for Nebraska, Kansas, eastern Colorado, northern Texas, and a tippy touch of Oklahoma up in the west there. By the way, Greg Wynn has been released. Make sure he doesn't post any videos on YouTube. If he does, he goes to jail for 5 more years. Let's keep that psychopath away from each and every one of us. Freeze warnings up in northern Minnesota, and here, conveniently, the National Weather Service has turned winter storm warning to the same color as frost and freeze warning. And now it doesn't even look like there's a blizzard or storm warning happening up there for you, folks. Make sure you click on your region and you will get the insane forecast that you've been waiting for. Yes, a drop of 60 degrees by Wednesday. London weather, snow to hit UK this month as experts warn of non-stop snow. Heads up, Queen Mother, your nipples are about to get prickly. Check out the bags here. He's a bag-a-roma on the way home from Queen Mum's or whatever. Is she dead? If the grim weather of this weather has told you anything, it's that winter is coming like an absolute freight train. It's insane. This winter is expected to be unusually cold, with snow expected to hit the UK as early as this month. I haven't seen it on the models, but my London is certainly fear-mongering about it. Now, forecasters predict the country will be blighted by extreme cold weather events for the entirety of the winter. Holy macaroni. Exact weather forecaster James Madden has warned of snow after snow this winter, beginning with something wintry setting in as early as October, Mirror Online reports. Where the fuck are we? We didn't save these, so we're keeping them all open. Seismic update. That's not where we are. Yeah, we are. So, where are we at? Forecasters predict we could see the first snow in as little as 10 days in Scotland as it slowly deteriorates for the next 5 months. Now, with crop loss and increased prices at the market, this winter will be leaner than most. And for many of you that haven't began planting, you're going to understand why it's important to start planting seeds. And it's simply to hedge yourself off of what's coming. It may come next year. It may come tomorrow. It depends on the grid. It depends on volcanic activity. It depends on the fake financial markets that are propped up by these oligarchs. It depends on the globalist paradigm and the program. Already the global warming agenda and climate change agenda is crumbling, and they see it happening. There is data to suggest that it's crumbling. So it's anyone's guess how the narrative will shift, but we will report on it as we get the data. but it's going to be a cold, wintry cluster coming to you soon. Seismic update, no quakes of note. 4.9 kicking off in 20 kilometers south of New Zealand. Nothing significant. We have this cacophony of quakes lining up here. 5.9 Kalama, Chile, and a double thruster at the spreading point at 5.3 South Sandwich Islands at the mid-ocean ridge. Triple point. Smoke a joint. Hello! Space weather news. It appears as if we are at solar minimum, but the phi angle is at 180, so anything is possible there. Seismic update. Seismic uptick possible in the next 24 hours. Plasma density is very moderate here, and the plasma speed is decreasing, which means you've been psychic 6 of the last 9 hours. It also means that the cosmic rays are heating the muons in the subsurface beneath silicious-rich volcanoes, including Popo and Dukono and Sabancaya, and even Chevaluche. So we should see an uptick in volcanic activity over the next 24 to 72 hours. After we reported yesterday, first news source in the world to report on a 38,000-foot eruption from Chevaluche. And that's the second boom. Right up here. So space weather is suggesting an increase in volcanic activity. Now, Chevaluche volcano, volcanic ash advisory coming out just a few hours ago showing the eruption has dissipated, which is good news for those in that area. Now let's talk about some cycles. Let's do it. 90-year, 200-year, the 206-year relational cycle, the 400-year grand solar minimum cycle, the 1,000-plus year bond cycle, the Danskad-Ishke cycle, the mass extinction cycle. Do you know what? The magnetic reversal cycle. They all come together right here in the next 50 years. They all lay on top of each other. Just as much as I would like to lay on top of many other people, these cycles always lay on top of each other. And they have nothing to do with you. They have nothing to do with CO2. And they have everything to do with the sun, the Atlantic Multi-Decadal Oscillation, the PDO, and other climate forcing mechanisms that add insult to injury, including the magnetic reversal cycle, which is happening now before your very lives at the same time as the rest of the climatic cycles, which means that Greta Thunberg is right in suggesting that you're living the next mass extinction, albeit a tiny one, just a tippy touch. But this young lady is genius because at least 1% of her information is true. Now let's listen to a legend of legends. One of the most attacked and discounted, thrown around, and destroyed scientists of the era, similar to Velikovsky. But Professor Don Easterbrook is one of the most resilient scientists of this era, because after being attacked for 2 decades, he does not quit. And so the final 5 minutes are going to be a schooling from Don Easterbrook, while we can all dab and learn together as a community. Because most of us will emerge from the other end of the initiating event. And then Agenda 2030 will be put in place. And they will try to corral us into the cities. But we will not comply. Do not comply. The most dangerous weapon to a corrupt system is an informed public. Let's get informed, shall we, public?
The amount of CO2 in the atmosphere has increased by only 8/1000%. If you take the level in 1950 and the absolute level, the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere, now it's increased by 8/1000%. And that isn't going to do very much. The third line of evidence is that CO2 always lags global warming, so it cannot be the cause.
Yeah, they want us to watch this one. Wow. What was that all about? We'll get back to it. So let's try to parse this back up here.
What we know is that,
and we will watch this at the close. But real quick, if you didn't know, come over. If you're preparing now and it's winter, we're about to hit, it's Christmas, guys. I just spent about 5 or 6 hours researching the new cutting edge technology on solar generators and solar systems, solar panels, pumps, and solar lighting. Now, I've bought some of these string lights in the past, and they were atrocious. But the new ones coming out are amazing. Like, literally, you have 10 years of continuous lighting for any building you want for free. And the lighting it's pretty spectacular. I'll do a video, and I'll show you how bright these lights are tomorrow, and maybe we'll sell some in the store. If you buy a $60 string or this $35 string, I get like $1.50, so we have to sell thousands of them. So everyone needs to buy these solar lights simply because you won't be using any of your electric forever. You can light your patio, your garden, your outside space, your shed. It's so simple. And then these motion sensor lights that are coming out, really priced right. They have motion sensors. They're solar. They'll last 10 years with the batteries in them. You can buy the equivalent rechargeable batteries on Amazon and stockpile enough for the rest of your life for like $20. So you have unlimited light, motion sensors for the rest of your life. Now, granted, some of them will break down, but I digress. These lithium-ion solar banks will last for 1,000 to 3,000 charges, which gives you, if you use it every day, continuous use for 10 to 30 years. And I guarantee you're not going to use it every day. So you're going to just wait till the shit hits the fan and then use it then. So it'll last for 10 years to 30 years after that. Running as much as a mini fridge and lighting and anything else you need to do. Heaters. Think about it. Small as 300 watts. They come in gigantic versions. We're accumulating them here. All different sizes. And as little as like $50. You can get a mini solar system with a charging station that'll have 2 lights for you for 10 years. You'll be able to read until midnight every day. So there's lots of options. Check out our store and let's get schooled by Don Westerbrook once again.
CO2 emissions soared after 1945,
the whole time.
Post-World War II, at a very sharply increased rate. And any climate changes that occurred before 1945 can't be blamed on CO2 because it hadn't risen yet. And the test is that if global warming is caused by CO2, then temperature should correlate with CO2. So look what happened. Here we start to soar in 1945. These are our global emissions. And superimposed on that is what the climate was doing. So for the first 30 years after the big sharp increase, we had 30 years of global cooling. So from this you could conclude that CO2 causes global cooling. And then there has been some warming since then. So climate change is real, nobody denies that. And let's look then at what CO2 has in common with temperature. Here's where, this is about 1945, this is where the emissions began to rise sharply. we have 30 years of global cooling. And before that, from 1915 to 1945, we had global warming without any increase in CO2. So who needs CO2? And it gets even more than that. In this graph, I plotted temperatures from isotopic evidence in ice cores. The red peaks are periods of global warming. And there are 20 on this graph, dating back to about 1500. If you go back even farther, if you go back 10,000 years, this is 10,000 years ago, this is the present, temperatures are about 2.5 to 5 degrees warmer than present in Greenland. No CO2. And then about 1,500 years ago, we dropped into what has become the Little Ice Age. Going back even farther, 25, 30 years, 1,000 years, we have the last ice age with huge warming of 20 degrees in less than a century and dropping of temperature of 20 degrees in perhaps around a century and rising of temperature about 20 degrees in a century.
So good stuff over
all
there
without
by
the benefit of CO2.
Watch the whole video. Do it. Do a dab. Not only that, watch me go over here. Holy shit. I'm getting dizzy. Come out here and check out the outline. Check out the truth about climate change, temperature, 600 million, 400,000, 20,000, 10,000 years ago. Check it out. Because I got the clout. Ho, before I turn the party out. Check out some fraud down here. Come down here and see misrepresentation and fraud on Arctic sea ice extent. U.S. heat waves and other things. Sounds like Tony Heller. Come check out our Preparedness store. Because not only did we add solar generators, for Christ's sake, we've got it going on, mates. Check out the idea list I have here to the left. Permaculture necessities, Grand Solar minimum books, water filtration, organic gardening, survival seeds, long-term food storage, season extenders. On and on and on. I got it. I got everything you could possibly need to buy as gifts for people that don't even know they need it yet. Could you imagine getting a gift, you don't know why you need it, and then all of a sudden the shit hits the fan and you're like, diamond is awesome. Holy shit. Hope you got something out of the video. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Thank you to each and every one of you that has interest in the topics I talk about and actually reacts when I say so. See the Pattern has an increase in over 500 subscribers in just 2 days. And you've watched at least 3,000 of his vids. That's how many views he's gotten. It's because of you we are all learning together as a collective. And it's not a creepy, like, we're all going to drink the Kool-Aid collective. It's a everyone else is going to die but us collective. We love you. Be safe.